How tall are you?
6'4".
How much you weigh?
Don't worry about all that.
No. Okay. All right.
No,
He's
I'm 2 and some change.
Okay, he's 6'5", 220.
Yeah.
So he's a little bit taller than you, moving like that. It's not like you see guards move like that. You're like, okay, cool. Like, what's Kyrie, 6'2"? You know, what's Russell, 6'3", 6'4"? Like, maybe, like, this dude's 6'5", man, moving like that. Like, that's a big body hitting you every single time.
No, it's just, I don't know. He's just smooth with it.
Yeah, it's smooth, yeah.
It's smooth with it, and he just like,
Fluid.
no matter what, you can't do anything. Like, It's like, oh my goodness. Buckets.
So let's set the scene. The numbers I was going to mention, he gave the Rockets 3 scoring titles. He took them to the Western Conference Finals twice. And, of course, one big divorce. But they're getting back together tonight. Nets, Rockets in Houston. Harden's return, ESPN, 7:30 Eastern, part of a double dip. Golden State, Portland will follow that. A win, the Nets will go to the All-Star break at 24-13, winners of 10 of their last 11. If you're wondering, James Harden here, real quick, in 10 seconds, getting it out pretty quick. He just wanted to make sure people knew on the reaction he hopes to get this evening.
I hope I receive the love and the appreciation that I've given to that city and I still give to that city. Hoping that the favor can be returned.
And speaking of return, he is returning, and he's returning a hero in a couple of different ways, and that's where I want to start with you this morning. His 13 restaurant, of course, named after his jersey, has helped out. They provided a ton of meals and some water after the Texas deep freeze. So even though he's left, he's returned. He's still trying to do some things in the community. But, Jay, I'll start with you here. Tillman Fertitta, the Rockets owner, made some waves yesterday when he came out and said eventually the franchise, despite all the acrimony, is going to retire James Harden's jersey. Probably going to happen a little bit later this season. Timing seems interesting. Nets on fire. Tillman's Rockets have lost 12 in a row.
There was that one time when the Rockets, I think, won 6 in a row. Everybody's like, oh, look, they're better without James Harden. You're like, calm down. Let's calm down for a second. I do not want fans to boo James Harden tonight. I don't want it to happen. A lot of people say, well, the way he forced his way out was just non-professional. And let's go back and let's provide a little history on how we even got to this point. A guy who, since he's been there, Key, he's taken them to the playoffs every single year.
Yeah.
Every single year. His first year averaging 25 points per game. I mean, we won't even get into the things he's done for the community, but this past year when he decided to leave, okay, the GM that made the trade for him to come from OKC, he all of a sudden decided to step down, quote unquote, which means, you know what that means. He was pushed out.
Daryl Morey
pushed out. Your head coach, Mike D'Antoni, that created the style in which you play, that you had a great bond with, they didn't give him extension. All of a sudden, he's gone. Russell Westbrook, all of a sudden, that relationship, that festers, rumors from the media, they don't get along, but now they're moving him, and they're making all these changes without consulting James Harden, the guy that they're building the whole franchise on, right? So now all of a sudden he wants to leave, and he goes to Brooklyn where he's part of a team with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving where they're winning. He's given this franchise everything he could, Key. I want him to just get the praise that he deserves when he comes back home to a city that he's always put on. Just Tillman Fertitta and company decided to make all these changes, and that's the way Tillman Fertitta is pretty much saying, hey, look, we made mistakes, but we love you, James. That's why we're announcing that we're actually going to retire your jersey.
If they boo him, they boo him, though. That's just a sign of respect, as far as I'm concerned. You boo him. Boo, whatever it is, that's just a sign of respect. I don't think that they will, though, because if you have any sense and you understand anything about professional sports, much like you just went through a timeline, Jay Will, there's the timeline that's right there. So you understand why he decided to leave Houston. So you really shouldn't be mad at it because you have to put yourself in his shoes. I know, you look at it and you think he turned down our city, our state. He doesn't want to play for us anymore. It's not that. It's that he wants to move on from an organization that, quite frankly, didn't figure it out. They had an opportunity. What were they, one game away from beating the Golden State Warriors?
Yeah, they were up 3-1.
And so ever since then, it's kind of been downhill for him. And now, as a professional athlete, you want to hit the reset button and you decide that going to Brooklyn gives you a better opportunity for that ultimate goal at the end of the day, which is to win a championship.
And come on, man, you're trying to win a chip, Key. You just said it. You're trying to win a chip. You're going to bring in the first-year head coach. When I'm trying to win a chip, and I've been here, I've been so close so many times. You're just going to give me a new GM, even though Raphael Stone has been in the building. Guy I had no say over who was going to be involved, or not. I needed a say. We talk about this with Deshaun Watson. Just hear my voice. Just hear my opinion. I'm not saying you need to listen to it. Factor it into the equation, or at least act like you're doing.
Well,
something.
yeah, and even if you look at it from the standpoint of James Harden or from the standpoint of Houston, if you are interviewing certain guys, you always want your star players to have some sort of participation. It doesn't mean that you have to have them sign off on the hire, but at least communicate with them so that they know what's going on, that they're not blindsided, Zubin, and all of a sudden they say to themselves, well, you brought this dude in the building. I may not even have a relationship with him, and you're going to try to force me to have a relationship with him when you could have simply hired Van Gundy, or maybe that would have helped you keep Harden, but for whatever reason, you couldn't get that deal done.
And don't get it twisted, PJ Tucker does not want to be there. He does not want to be in Houston. And it's funny with the Brooklyn Nets coming in town, it's you think about all the best fits for PJ Tucker and what team he would want to go to. He's going to want to go to Brooklyn.
But it's sweet, though, that they're going to retire his jersey at some point. I mean, he's done
That's
a
what's
lot.
up.
He's done a lot for them. I know he didn't bring him a title, but he's got to be. What do you got? You got Clyde Drexler. You got obviously the Dream.
Yep.
Kareem. Dream, Olajuwon.
Yep.
Who else?
I got the others. Go ahead.
Who? Give me
give
one.
him up, yeah.
Calvin Murphy.
I was about to say Calvin
Calvin
Murphy.
Murphy.
I was going to say Calvin Murphy.
Fo, but with a different team. Moses Malone.
Yeah, Moses Malone.
Rudy Tomjanovich. Clyde Drexler, you said. Yao Ming, of course.
Oh, yeah, I mean.
And the initials of longtime assistant coach and executive Carol Dawson, a lot of times, obviously, he doesn't have a number, so they retired CD. And obviously, JH will join soon. That's your entire list of Rockets.
How long
coaches.
did Moses play in Houston? How long was that?
Well, I'll find out.
I'm not sure.
It was maybe
I'm
4
not a
years.
historian all the time of the game.
4 years, I think.
Was
I think
it?
it was 4 years in Houston.
Well,